All right, so our next session, so we've got a wonderful, wonderful session coming up here now. This is a new launch here. We all want you to meet a very new special agent, Agent OS, that's coming up. And as DevRev shared this morning, you're all aware of a shoe company out there that has the logo, Just Do It. And when we talk about Agent OS, we're going to say, just don't do it, leave it to the agent. So please help us welcome the co-founder and president of DevRev, Manoj Agarwal.
I was coming to New York and asked my daughter, I'm going to New York, and the very first thing that she said was like, yeah, tall buildings, right? That's just the image of the New York. And every time that I come here, I just feel it that way, like, okay, you go to the hotel, ask for a room, okay, it's on the 37th floor, or like 84th floor, or I don't know what. So that's the way that you get to it. But like when you think about the company also, and you start to look at inside the company, and what we see is there are lots of people, departments that are there inside the company. And I'm just talking about a few of the departments that I'm just showing here. You're looking at, obviously on the back office, you have engineering department, you have even cloud ops. On the front office, that you'll have the sales, you have marketing, you have customer support, customer success, and then you have the product team or product management team that brings it together. It's talking to the front office, talking to the back office, and so on. And each of these departments, you have people. And these people, they have specific skills. We give those skills also titles. And let's look at, for example, if I'm in the support department, my title might be support manager, and I'm expected to do a few things. And these are the roles that I will have. Doing the ticketing, I'm routing certain calls that are coming to me, or I'm going to go and do some escalations. I might be doing the troubleshooting. I will be prioritizing work for the people. A lot of time I also do data entry work that happens. But you change the persona. By the way, all of these things that I do with what? There are systems that are there for me also to do all of these tasks. I'm talking about the customer support side. We are looking at ticketing system, whether it is Zendesk, whether it is Salesforce Service Cloud, or even down to ServiceNow. I need to make calls. Maybe there is L1 call centers that I need to really work with. There are chatbot. There are 200 companies right now out there, and probably every day that you hear 100 more companies that are forming. But yeah, all of these tools and systems that you require, skills that you acquire to do the job. I go to like maybe just pick another persona, product manager, doing the road mapping, scoping, analysis, forecasting, even I'll say down to monitoring the environment to really know that, okay, how exactly is my product doing? And they also use another system tools that is there at their disposal to do the work. I mean, I can keep going. I can put a salesperson there, and they also have similar kind of work that they are doing, except that it's just more specific to their title and with the tools and system that exists for them. Now, can continue to extend. I mean, it doesn't stop there. But when you look at this persona, and especially we are all talking about AI right now, so I'm also going to take that luxury. What if each of these persona that can have a digital personality also, or they could go and program the mundaneness that they do every day. They can program that into this. And let's say an equivalent, digital equivalent of this persona which possesses this skill set that can come or sit next to them. And they can collaborate with each other. So, meaning there are things that I can do, this AI agent, we call this AI agent, and this is the word that is being used in the industry, so I'm just going to use that. AI agent, that they can do a lot of work that are mundane work autonomously. doesn't really require me to really collaborate directly with the person. But there are work that these agent or AI agent will have to do, wherein that they'll have to collaborate with the human, which is like, okay, a digital persona that I have, I need to collaborate with this person because I can't do everything myself. But how about the next step is these AI agents can also collaborate across the departments to carry out certain things. Think of it that like people will say that, okay, I'm putting product manager in between, and their job becomes like, okay, collaborate with everybody else to perform certain tasks. What if the AI agent, a supervisor AI agent can do that? I can collaborate with other AI agent from the other departments to carry out certain tasks. Can you do that? And we think that we are moving in that direction. Dheeraj spoke about that. We can't just say that, okay, suddenly everybody's job will go away. Like, I mean, we still require humans. But like more deeply, I would say, when you look at each of these persona and the tools and systems that you see, there are roles and responsibility, but there is also access control. There is data that who has access to what data is also very, very important. So this AI agent, also they will just not have access to all data on their own, because there is also governance that is required for these AI agents. So they will also have the role-based access control just like human do. And assume that that also has to be programmed with the data set that exists there. And I'm just going to introduce two kind of AI agents first. The first one is autonomous AI agent. Now this is where you hear a lot about in the industry, especially in with the L1 support and extending that to the L2 support. Now this is where that these AI agents are able to act on the information that is provided in the form of knowledge base, and even the tool sets with the workflows wherein they can search, they can deflect. And when we say the deflect, it is like, okay, I can autonomously can take care of the request that is coming from the customers. And but when they are not able to finish that work on their own, and they know that, okay, this is lot more complex task that I have to do, can they really collaborate with the human? Can they really bring all the information that is required to get that work done way faster, as opposed to like human will have to go and figure it out from 20 different systems to get that information. And to talk about that, I'm going to invite my colleague Aditi Mishra here, and we are going to make it more real now, which is, let's do some demo, real demo. Thanks for coming. So Aditi, what are you going to talk about?
First of all, thank you, Manoj. Thank you all of you for being here. It's so exciting to see so many great minds in the same room. And what we're going to show, first of all, can you hear me okay or not? How about now? Is the mic on? No. Okay. How about now? There we go. Perfect. So what I said that maybe you had missed is just thanking everyone for being here. It's really exciting to be in a room with so many great minds talking about, an exciting subject. So what Manoj and I are going to show you today is an autonomous experience, a customer support experience facilitated by an autonomous agent, which he just introduced. And then we'll also show you a customer support experience facilitated by an augmented agent. So we're going to start here in this example where we're Google Workspace. In this example, I am a Google Workspace customer, and Google Workspaces uses the DevRev live chat widget, which they've installed on the right here. As a customer, I know I can come here if I have a question or if I need help, and I can open up the chat widget and start a conversation.
And can I have any kind of conversation or?
Yes, I was just going to say, customers don't always come to us with a perfect amount of context and specifics about the problem that they're trying to solve. They often just send us the word hi. And, it's up to us to figure out what the customer needs. So the DevRev customer service AI agent quickly responds and offers assistance.
Can it also answer maybe what is the temperature outside, maybe, in New York?
Yeah, let's throw some random questions at the agent. So what do you want to ask, Manoj? Do you want to ask about the weather in New York?
Or maybe what is happening at Effortless Conference?
Okay. So while the agent thinks about that, you know, it may be silly, but even though this...
So this is a real AI agent. You can see that how they respond because they don't know anything about it. So idea is that it should not hallucinate. It should just come to the point. It should answer the way that it should be. It's supposed to be.
Exactly. And it shouldn't say, you know, sorry, I don't know that one, or try again, try something better. We want it to give a little bit of context here. Should we proceed with a normal question?
So let's say in the context of Google Workspace, what can we do?
Sure. So something a customer of Google Workspace may want to do is add new users. So I'll ask the agent to help me out with that. And like customers do, I'm using acronyms. I'm going to make a typo. I should say add at least, though. So let's go from there. So the agent is probably excited that I finally asked a relevant question, and it prompts me for more information before it can move forward. And then what you'll see is it'll respond with a few key pieces of information.
I mean, like what you're seeing at this point also is not just going and giving some vanilla answer. It has to go and look at the information about you as a customer. What exactly do you have right now? Are you even allowed to add these many users or not? So we are talking about here the workflows, deep inside that it's going through right now.
Exactly. So it's able to reference information from the knowledge base about the different subscription plans, but it also knows how many users I have on my plan, and then it's able to reason that if I want to add new users, I need to proceed with an upgrade. And so that's beyond just lookup and search. There's a lot more here that, Manoj, you had talked about when it comes to RBAC, access, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So should we upgrade?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I mean, now we are talking about saying yes is one thing here. The system actually has to do a lot more. It has to have the access to, first of all, these systems. It has to be able to go and even change the information. Like we are talking about here, not just visualizing the information, but also going and taking the actions inside the account.
And let's break down what happened. So initially we were talking to one AI agent, the customer service agent, but in order to complete the upgrade, it looped in a different AI agent to create the ticket, complete the upgrade, and then close the ticket. So what you saw was two AI agents working together to solve a problem. And you'll notice we went from first touch, ticket created, ticket closed in a matter of probably minutes. And had we not been talking, it could have been, you know, even under 1 minute.
And the good thing here is that you also see there is entire audit trail. The fact that there was ticket created, the entire operations that was performed, all of that is recorded inside. So like you don't miss out on any of that information. Also like some random AI agent came and did something. No, not really. It's all recorded. So I don't know if you can see there, it's not just one agent, AI agent who is working. It's multiple AI agents working together to carry out certain functions. And that's great. I don't know if you want to maybe introduce something more complexity here.
I do, but before I wanted to ask you, you know, when you reach out for customer support engagements, how much patience do you have usually?
I actually have no patience. I never wants to call. Anybody actually who has called an airline and trying to change something, will find out that how difficult that is. I really wish something like this existed there, that it can just do the work for me.
Yeah, I can speak for myself. I think all of us are spoiled by the consumer apps like DoorDash, Uber, Amazon, where you get an answer immediately. I think more and more we'll start to see this B2B as well, and AI agents really empower your organization to provide service like that. But this was a relatively simple problem solved entirely by autonomous AI agents. What Manoj and I want to show you next is how these two AI agents collaborate to solve a harder problem and bring in a human where it's needed. Bring in a human to augment the work that they're doing. So let's say, I should say, I always try and say thank you to the AI agents, even if they're not humans. So I'll say,
Yeah, let's act human with them. They're doing so much work.
they are. And, if they do take over the world one day, I hope they'll remember that I was nice. So let's say, I spoke too soon. Someone on my team isn't able to log in.
Like really the scenarios that we want to show you, when you do the real work, you do find you encounter actual issues. And you still want to come to the same interface where you are. And can it actually do the work or not for you also? More complex issues. Like now in this case, there's a lot more debugging probably is required. It's not that just saying that, okay, login issues or suddenly that they can go and debug also. Someday will come when they can also go and debug this.
Yeah.
So what happened here?
Yeah, so you saw the customer service agent responded to us again. It has a certain skill set. It looped in the escalation agent again, who has a different skill set. It created a ticket, but then it actually realized that it's not able to help us resolve this ticket with its current skills, and it'll pull in a human where it's needed. It'll assign this ticket to a developer to help us further.
So how does it look like to the person on the other side? I'm assuming that this has been escalated to the right person.
Exactly. And so up until this point, we've shown you this demo from the perspective of the customer. We're going to switch over now to a developer persona who's working in the DevRev app. So the developer has been tagged in to help with this. And right off the bat, they've got a lot of information here. I can see the entire conversation that's been had up until this point. And then to Manoj's point, everything is kept here for an audit trail. So we have the ticket that was created and closed, and then we also have the new ticket that I'm meant to work on.
And that's like, I also see here something, sessions. What is that?
Thanks for reminding me. So if we open this session, we can see for the relevant user what they were doing before they initiated this conversation with us, or before they reported the problem, I should say.
So really the idea here is that the AI agent, when they are working, they have to bring all of the context of the information that they can gather, either autonomously through the sessions that was running, what exactly was the customer or user was doing at that point. Maybe in this particular case, it is not so relevant, but it might also bring out the sessions that actual user, end user, that in this case Ayush was doing, that also can be brought in this context, so that it gives you more information exactly what happened to be able to go and debug faster. I also see here there are a lot of things that are provided because this ticket was created, but there is Turing is our AI engine behind the scene, which is able to find a lot of similar kind of issues from the past also. So it has the memory recall to bring the similar tickets. It also has the information that gives you all the relevant articles with which very quickly that you should be able to go and debug. What else?
We have a summary in the ticket body that was generated automatically, and then the agent has actually commented on the internal discussions piece of the ticket, and it said, I've reviewed the session, I looked at the relevant articles, here are the things I checked and I tried, and here's an update, this is what I wasn't able to do. So as a developer, a lot of the legwork has been done for you by the AI agent. You're in a much better spot to resolve this problem quickly, and a lot of the tedious, uninspiring work has also been done for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will say that as a developer, just to even go and gather all this information, really used to take like days, if not weeks. In fact, and going back and forth a lot of time with the customer support person all the time. So, and also to the customers that we had to go back to. So awesome. So how do you really conclude this one? Like, can you maybe even talk to the customers from here?
I can. So as the developer in this situation, I'm in a good spot. I think I know how to solve this problem. So before I start, I'll just let our customer know. I found the problem and I'll have it fixed soon. And then if we go back to the customer side of things, our customer gets the update. And this is really the power that we wanted to show of the DevRev platform. We provide AI agents, but then we also provide you a platform and app for your human agents and your AI agents to work together.
That's awesome. I see here Nikhil Talwar's name. I thought that that's Aditi. Definitely she's using Nikhil Talwar's laptop here.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
This was wonderful. I know that number of hours that gets saved in just doing this. Anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I think, even just hearing everyone talk today about the potential of AI, how we can use it in design, actually, I love the point about even just using AI to follow up with people, taking away the menial work of having to go and do something like that yourself. And I feel excited and inspired by all that's to come. I really hope that rather than replacing us, which I don't think AI is here to do, it gives us time back. It gives us our evenings back. I certainly would love my evenings back. So I'm really excited, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's very well said. Thank you so much. Well done. Yeah, I mean, what you are seeing here, that obviously doing it autonomously, but also doing it with human augmented or augmentation with the human to really carry out the work is going to be super important, at least for the next whatever number of years that I heard the 15 years kind of time horizon, and we'll all see like if it goes even faster and not. But the great thing about this is that you actually get more time to work on things that matters, not really just going and collecting the information from here and there, which machine can do much better. And in the process, like you, first of all, you see here, there was customer service agent, there was escalation agent, they were working hand in hand, but there was underlying technologies that it was using, which is powered by search. And when we are talking about search, we are talking about not just the syntactic, I'll say the keyword based search, which is great for the log files and large amount of data that you have. And then what we call it semantic search. Now this is where that the entire RAG that people talk about right now, which is more expensive, like because you have to go and work with the embeddings, you have to work with the vector databases, and the entire retrieval process that you are going through the LLMs and so on, that just becomes way too expensive. So how do you really work out both of them based on exactly what you're trying to do? And then there are workflows, and which basically is also accessible to these AI agents. So there are two types of agent that we have already spoken about. Now, is there a third type of agent that also we should see? Like, because inside the company, how many people that every maybe week, every month, every quarter, that you have lots of meetings that just maybe trying to figure out what exactly has been done in the week, what exactly has been done in the month, how exactly is the quarter that looks like, which requires a lot of analysis, analysis with the data. And so we're just introducing the third agent to the mix, which we are calling it analyst agent. We should have really access to a lot of data again, things like, okay, customer 360 view, digging deeper into the customer 360 to really carry out a lot of things, product 360 view, the developer 360 view, or any persona that you can pick, can you really get into deeper and deeper and deeper, something that the analyst agent should be able to do. And to talk about that, I'm going to invite here another of my colleague here, Haritha. Let's welcome her. And hi, Haritha. So what are you going to talk about?
AI, I guess. Yeah, thank you, Manoj, for having me here. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about how data is everywhere. It's almost like a data everywhere, but no insights problem. And we're here to discuss how all of this data can be made sense of and presented better. And I think a few panel members mentioned, how do you get to the next action in the quickest time frame possible? I think that is what DevRev's AI analyst agent is trying to do. So yeah, happy to
Okay, so like this particular interface, particularly that we are looking at people who are inside the company and trying to like really figure out, get deeper and deeper to understand their business, or even any persona that you pick, the day to day there are so many things that you have to go and do, dashboarding, reporting, building a new vista, but getting to that very, very quickly. So what does the interface look like?
Yeah, so I'm going to walk you through a day in my life. I'm a data product manager, which means I take care of reporting and dashboards. Erin, I'm going to have a side chat with you in a bit. But I'm constantly looking for ways to understand customer needs, their pain points, the requests that are coming in, prioritize, roadmap for our product, and also measure product success, because we need to know what's working, what's not working. And instead of trying to wait for data pipelines to be built, number crunching that goes on for days, extremely complex queries that need to be written, and try to make sense of it all, I want us to envision a simpler world. We're going to reimagine something, and let's see how that goes. And I'm going to use DevRev's AI analyst agent to help me here. The first thing is, like I said, I would like to understand what customer asks are awaiting my inputs as a product manager, because it starts with the customer and ends with the customer. So let's try to do that.
So this is an interface to invoke AI analyst agent in this case. I see that.
It's awaiting.
It's just saying tickets awaiting product assist for the data app, and the system was able to really figure out what exactly is the object for that, which is CAPL or capability 61. And the system was able to take this human input, was able to go and translate into SQL query, to be able to also use the design to bring all of that information in front of you instantly.
Next, let's try to prioritize some of the work that we need. So I'm going to go to our backlog, where, as you can see.
So what are we looking at right now?
So this is our sprint board. It constitutes a whole bunch of things that we're currently working on, things we're going to pick up next, but also an endless backlog, as you can see here.
A day in the life of product manager. Obviously, on one hand, I have to go and look at all these blocker things that are on my desk. I need to go and prioritize, work on it. But then the second part of the day is that also you have to look at constantly your backlog that are there, that the developers they are working on, and you have to help prioritize that also. So what do you do?
Yeah, I sit and I download this and sit with pen and paper, and I try to do it for at least 15 days a month. It takes me 15 days to get through 435.
And lots of meetings.
Yes.
All right.
With no consensus of this. And it moves to the next month's backlog. That's how it works, right? Instead, we're going to ask.
So she's just simply asking the analyst agent right now to prioritize on all the backlog that she has. And the idea is that obviously in the background that there has to be algorithm that is powering this also. What does the prioritization even mean? Everybody talks about the customer centricity, talk about the customer obsession, but customer also you have to define like what customer centricity is, who are the customers who gets the priority. There are like the customers who are already paying you a lot of money, but there are also strategic customers that are there. There are new opportunities that are waiting in the pipeline that you have to go and close in the quarter. There are customers who are becoming, let's say they were healthy customers right now, going through a lot of trouble, becoming more orange and red and so on from the CSAT score perspective. So all of these considerations that you have to take when you are going and building this prioritization list. And this is something that also is not a constant, it's continuously changing also. And how do you really bring that out? So what we are seeing is just with one thing that you wrote, prioritize, and you got the list. So you're done? You don't have to work now for 15 days? So what else do you do?
No ink and quill anymore, just this. I think I'm going to explore New York City. It's my first time here. Cool. So moving and shifting gears a little bit from, again, we always try to build up the complexity. This is pretty straightforward, like, one type of object. Again, not very complicated data. Let's shift gears a little bit and go to, let's say you're a customer success manager and you have a very important business review meeting coming up, which means it's all hands on deck. Every person in the company is being asked for numbers, and if you're in the data team, that means it's a hell of a week for you. And we have seen that over and over again, where we have been asked to generate reports, where it's like, what is going on with this customer? And especially, the stakes are higher if, let's say, there's a contract renewal coming up, and you want to deep dive to a level that you've not done so far, because right now, it's like the time is ticking. So as a customer success manager, you want to prepare for your business review meeting. Again, let's ask DevRev's AI analyst agent to help us here. I'm going to say, excuse my typos. Very soon, we'll also have speech to text for our tuning.
So you're just preparing for some kind of QBR or something?
Yeah.
With the customer?
Yeah. And what I'm asking for is customer 360 for my top customer. And here, as you can see, it has identified what my top customer is, and it's giving me a customer 360 dashboard for that customer. So this is done based on a bunch of different parameters. It's considering things like, is the contract renewal coming up? What is the annual contract value of this customer? How important are they? Are they a strategic account, or are they an upsell opportunity? And we at DevRev strongly believe that customer success is the entire company's responsibility, and so is the product success. So product and customer go hand in hand and are owned by the entire company. So now let's take a look at the dashboard.
So you're looking at what? The top customer 360 customer dashboard, 360 dashboard,
Yeah.
if at all it comes. I'll blame it to the network. A lot of time that happens when you're doing the live demo. I don't know how many of you see that or not. Oh, it came.
Came up, thank God. Yeah, thanks. Cool. So we start with, okay, this is my top customer, and the health category is not at risk, but they're not as great as we would like them to be, because we are slightly strict with our thresholds and our standards. So they are neutral, but we want to get them to the all green stage. So you're noticing that the customer health score is in a little bit of a flux. It's started off okay, but then it's going down, and then it's slowly coming back up. But is it going to go down again, or is it going to keep going up? There's no way to tell, but there is. So what you can do is you can compare that, and you can go one level deeper to actually understand which of the metrics or what is going on within your organization that is causing the score to dip, let's say around April 27th and 28th, and what is causing it to go back up again. And as you can see here, this is mirrored in the actual metrics and their values. And you're able to see, okay, there are a few that are flatlining. I don't care about them. And then there are a few that are going up and down. And you also want to do this in your QBRs, right, with your customers. You want to do highlights. Hey, something is going really well. And you also want to do areas of improvement. So let's identify that for the CS person. So the highlights here are that the product usage has been consistently going up. Great news. And in terms of customer satisfaction, I think someone mentioned this, I think Tasso mentioned this in his panel, which is, it is an indicator of something. there is something deeper going on below. But things that have taken quite a bit of a nosedive are engagements that you're having with the customers, and most importantly, support and
So good news,
development.
yeah. So good news is there is a lot of information in the customer 360 that you can continue to go and add, and what it means for you when you get in the front of the customers. There is also what we are not showing here. All you have to do is that, okay, generate a report for me. I'm going to the customer. It should be able to give you the entire brochure. There's something that you can hand over the customer, something that you can carry, you can prepare, and so on. So I want to shift the gear to the next. What else? Like front office also, I'm just looking at my quarter. How is it doing? Can I ask those kind of questions also here?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in terms of wrapping up this portion, what I do want to highlight is just in the course of the last 3 minutes, we've gone 4 levels deep, right? You started from something as high as, the customer is neutral. You went down to, okay, they're neutral because of certain things. And you went all the way down to, this is exactly what is causing the problem. And you were also able to identify what exact tickets will move and shift the needle from it being neutral and push them over to the green side. So this is kind of like the power of data, and when it all comes together, and that is the 360 view that we are able to provide. And now, like Manoj asked for, let's go shift gears a little bit. You're at the end of the year, you're starting to forecast the first quarter of the year. It's always exciting. So I'm gonna again invoke DevRev's AI analyst agent, and I'm gonna ask, what's up, buddy? No. How is the Q1 forecast?
You expect like now the new interface should be a lot intuitive for you to be able to go and interact with. Instead of just going and throwing all of this has to go to some data analyst, is the one who's going to come and bring that information out. By the way, each one of these that what you see here are clickable to get to the bottom of individual object also. You can go and do a lot of analysis, like what she spoke about, 3 levels, 4 levels deep that you can go, and then from there also come back. So looks like that there is commit, there is best case, pipeline. I guess that I'm not very happy with I see here. And if I want to even find out how do I really move this, some of the best case to commit, some of the pipeline value to the maybe the best case or commit, how do I do that?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little chatty today. So we're gonna see how our AI analyst agent can retain context, right? So I'm gonna have a continued conversation here. So first question I asked was, what is the Q1 forecast? Manoj is not happy, so which means we have to fix that right away. So let's ask for the best case category that you've given me here.
So it has the memory. I mean, you can have this continuous conversation even in the case of AI analyst agent. So in the best case category, what customers are expansion opportunity? Now this is the question that is asked. There are opportunities that are pointed out here. And these are real opportunities. Typically will be in the Salesforce CRM or HubSpot CRM or some other CRM of your choice. That's where the information will be. So I get here and I see there's a pretty large opportunity that I see here. If I have to go and dig deeper on one of the account, how do I do that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask.
Maybe just use Lycra.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask what feature.
What is this Pandey Enterprise? Is that Dheeraj Pandey's?
Is it? I see a lot of zeros on that.
Self-dealing.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask what feature requests. Oops.
And you see, like even the interface is built in a way that you can search for those information right there from the interface itself. So you're looking for any kind of object that you can just go and search with either hash, whether dollar, we're just using it for the user customers. Okay, so We are seeing here number of tickets that are kind of what? Severity is medium, but it's kind of blocking this customer probably, or maybe we can move this account over. And typically that I've heard from Michael that he doesn't really want to go and prioritize something just because it has been asked by one customer. He's always looking for, okay, just show me, like, if I go and build something, it has to be useful for many, many customers. Like typically that's the way it should be. It should not be just the escalation from one customer. And is there a way to find out, maybe if you pick one ticket here, let's say the first one, to find out if there are other customers also facing that problem?
Yeah, because we take Pareto principle very seriously in our product team, we do go for the 80%. So we're going to check what other customers are asking for similar tickets. So let's pick ticket 14.
So now what are we doing here? The similarity search is that it's not just based on some keyword. There is semantic play that is happening across the entire customer base. It's able to bring out all of that tickets right here in front of you. Now, typically that you will take it all, you're going to go and create some kind of report, you want to send it to the product team, have them really act on it, come back and so on. And in the past, I will ask people, okay, can I get it by, let's say, early next week or maybe by the weekend and all that. I always get the pushback that, okay, I'm going on vacation. Why are you asking me right now? Sorry, I understand you and so on. But what can we do now? Like even to go and create a report?
Yeah, and like I said, I'm planning to explore New York, so that's on my mind. So I'm just going to do what we do at DevRev. So I'm just going to go create a report for you right now, Manoj.
It is as simple as that. You just picked up all those tickets which were similar tickets, they brought together, you can right away create a report that is available, ready, you can ship it to whoever that you want inside the organization. And that's the way to do it. That was wonderful. Anything else that you want to maybe talk about?
Yeah.
I already saw so much.
Yeah, and there's more coming. This is just a teaser of what we're trying to do here at the, data product team. And I just want to wrap it up with just one thing, which is data, design, and AI walk into a bar. And I want to say where AI will help data and where design will help data, right? They're two very different things, but it's all three things coming together. Where AI will help data is language agnostic ETL processes, abstraction of complex data models that require joins and entity relationships that nobody can make sense of, automations, workflows, and visualizations, right? And things where design will help data, we strongly believe, is reducing cognitive load, increasing delight, delivering the right information to the right people at the right time in the right amount, right? And like Scott mentioned, if we can go get most of our first-party data right, we'll worry about third-party data later, but that's what we're aiming to do here.
Awesome. Give a round of applause to Haritha. Thank you so much. Wonderful. I mean, you can see here, again, there was a lot happening here. There's a lot of deep tech also at play. Obviously, there is search that is happening. There is entire data warehousing. There is text to SQL that is happening there. Visualization of the data, that how we do it, right? Like with the prompt that is coming in there. There are lots of workflow alerts that all were used in this particular demonstration. And the three type of agents that today we spoke about, which was autonomous, and the augmented one, which is like, okay, autonomous agent, they are working with the help of human to really go and do the work. And the third one that we spoke about is the analyst. Now, when we think about this, there is foundational technologies that are powering this. Now, this foundational technologies is not something that we just can bypass to build something like this. Now, we are talking about search. Search is still foundational. People talk about RAG, but behind that is awesome search. Now, how good is your embedding model? How good is your vector database? How do you really can even create multiple of them without really worrying about a lot of cost associated with it? How do you really differentiate between your syntactic and semantic search? Large amount of data, as we spoke about, which is like log files, stack traces, and all of that information that has to go into a different database, different search engine, Elasticsearch, as opposed to like knowledge, the tickets data, the opportunity information, something that you want to keep it in a different database. Workflows, it has to have the world-class workflow engine. That's like even the most complicated task that you should be able to go and program. It cannot just be, okay, here is a new language that you have to go and use. I'm talking about SOCL, like, and now I have to go and find, like, only certain people can go and do it. They are certified to be able to go and write. You should be able to go and write your workflows with industry language, TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, Go, like the kind of language that you should be able to go and do it. And an awesome analytics engine, which is powered by, let's say, the data warehousing that is there. But like every time that you think about this, first of all, our data is distributed all over the place. We are talking about all the tools and systems that we are using. Now, if you are looking at, just going to Atlassian, you're looking at one kind of information that is existing there, mostly the developers and product manager that they're using it. You're looking at Salesforce or HubSpot, you're looking at different kind of data that exists there. How do you bring all of this data together in a system that can then go and power everything that we are talking about, the search, the workflows, the analytics? Now, typically, and you see in the industry is, okay, here is another data warehousing solution. You bring all of this data there, that's fine. Only problem with that approach is, first of all, how do you really manage not just the visualization, but how do you go and take action on that database? In a workflow like what we just now demonstrated, you have to just not go and visualize the information, you have to take actions, you have to go and change stuff, update the record, and all of that you have to go and do. How do you really also think about the access control mechanism? Because like when you have the data warehousing, access is now limited to only few people, because not everybody can get the access, because it loses the context of what access level existed back in these systems. So that is another problem that you see. So what we have done, like more than 3 years of deep R&D work that we have done, wherein we have built this, what we call it, knowledge graph. And data that comes from all these external system, what we call is airdrop, is the technology, wherein the data, it's not just one-way migration that we are doing, it's a two-way sync. And two-way sync is easier said than done. It's extremely hard problem we are talking about. Now, object by object, all attributes that you have, the workflows that you have, has to be really synced well. Not in one direction, in both directions. So this is the only way that you are able to not just visualize the information, you are able to create new information, you are able to update the information, you are also able to delete if needed, if you have certain, let's say, privileges there. And to talk about this is like really foundational work that we are talking about. And I'm going to invite my colleague, Molly Holland, to walk us through, maybe even give us a demo of what we are talking about. All right, Molly is here.
All right, hi everyone. Is this working? Can you hear me? Yes, okay, amazing. All right, so you guys want to see a product-centric knowledge graph?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, great. I love the enthusiasm. Thank you, me too. What do you think, Manoj?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So what we call as trails in DevRev is that product-centric knowledge graph. It's the visual representation of your product hierarchy and allows you to really see what that data structure is of your product. So we're going to keep with the Google Workspace theme here. And within our Google Workspace product, you can see we have many different capabilities that we've built and that our customers use. So we're going to zero in on our productivity capability. And within that, you can see we have additional features and maybe even sub-features of those features that our customers consume. What the great thing is about DevRev is we link all of those different pieces of information and center it around the way your customers consume your product. And we can bring all of that information from all those disparate systems into a single place that allows your team to see and understand how those linkages relate back to your product. So you can see here, for example, maybe you're using Zendesk as a support system. Through that AirDrop technology that Manoj was talking about, that syncing capability that we have, we can bring in all of your tickets from Zendesk and map that back to the certain capability or part of your product that it is related to. If you are using Jira, maybe you have Jira issues that you're syncing into this productivity capability as a part of your product. And you can see how all these different things relate to one another. Maybe Confluence for articles. And then additionally, you can see who's working on what within your team by looking at top contributors. And you can also see who's using or consuming that part of your product the most. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about a product-centric knowledge graph. And this is all done automatically within DevRev.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is first when you bring the data from those so many disparate systems, how do you visualize it? How do you organize it? How do you see it? And then everything else that we talk about on top of that, the foundational technologies like the search capability and workflow engine and analytics, all of that then gets powered on top of that. So, I mean, can we
But
also
how?
maybe...
How do you get it in there?
Yeah, how do you really get the data? I know that it was very fancy word to talk about AirDrop. And is that going to take me weeks, months?
Well, not if I have anything to say about it.
Okay,
All right, so let's do it. You guys want to do it? I'm not going to make you wait too long for lunch, I promise. So what we do is we go into our DevRev settings, no problem, right? We take a peek at our imports here. I can even see, oh, what other systems have I already imported data from? I already have a Jira sync going on. I have a Salesforce sync going on. Should we start another one?
Yeah, why not?
I need Zendesk, right? We have to get that support part happening. So here's my Zendesk connection. I'm going to select which part I want it to be associated with. And I'm going to go ahead and start the import. So here you can see all the other tools you might have going on. You can see here we have that import started already for Zendesk. All right, what do you think, Manoj?
Yeah, first of all, like you saw some of the imports that she said that is ongoing. It's a two-way sync that was already happening with those systems. So it's a continuous thing. It's not just one-time import. Now, so I saw like, so it's able to now determine what's going on the source side and destination side.
That's right. And what if you need to customize something, or maybe you want to clean up your data? You don't have to spend weeks or months with a ton of your team's time doing this. I hear this often from customers or prospects we speak to. Oh, I have this new AI tool I want to try out, but I had to spend a month cleaning my data first. You don't have to do that with DevRev. So we can just quickly click through. Not to bore you today, I won't spend a lot of time doing it, but make a lot of different selections, some custom fields, decide what I want to bring in, what I don't, and the transformation begins.
Wow.
All right.
Now, obviously, the data we are talking about, I saw, what, 6 tickets or something? 7 tickets?
Yeah, this is a minor one, I would say. We've done some big ones, and I think, Manoj, people might want to hear from someone other than us about how cool this technology can be. What do you think?
Like, we always like to hear, like, a demo is fine, but in real life, can you maybe talk about something?
I think I have someone here today that might be willing to share their perspective. Alec, do you want to come join us?
All right, let's get a real customer, real use case, that how this actually happens at scale without requiring a single professional.
That's right. No
Services,
professional
dollar?
services. That would have cost
nice to meet you.
hundreds
Thanks for
of
coming.
thousands of dollars. So here today to talk about their experience with AirDrop and with DevRev is Alec Booth from Bolt. Bolt is charged with, I love that actually, I didn't even think about that before, charged with democratizing commerce helping retailers use their lightning fast engine to guarantee that they'll recognize 20% of consumers and improve conversion by 20% as well. So Alec is responsible for support engineering at Bolt and has been a great partner to DevRev, so welcome. We have a handheld mic for you here. Okay, great. When Bolt came to DevRev, you guys were facing some challenges in being able to scale your customer support, as well as really providing an enhanced customer experience for them. You want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so back in December, we had a bit of a reorg and restructure where we were trying to determine where support went, where Bolt went, how we were going to do things efficiently. And one of the things that we really wanted to do was be able to take away, like they said earlier, the mundane work, the things that aren't meaningful for our support agents, and give them a tool that accomplished that work for them while also empowering our merchants and our customers. A few of the things that we wanted to do was bring in autonomous agents, connect with our APIs and different chat mechanisms to really bring the customer. I think at the end of the day, what I wanted to do was give the merchants what they needed in the moment that they needed it and not have them need to go out to different websites, different portals, different systems to figure that out for themselves and really just serve up that answer for them right there.
Awesome. So before we could get to all those aspirational things, we had to do something pretty, I think, magnificent. We did a super fast migration for you guys, the fastest ever in DevRev's history. And that was to get you off your costly support system so you didn't have to pay for a whole nother year of service, right? So talk about that experience.
Yeah, so in December we started doing some demos and figuring out what system we wanted to move to. Zendesk wasn't it. And in January, we made the decision that we were going to move to DevRev, contract negotiations, everything wrapped up early February, and we had 2 weeks to move from Zendesk into
2 weeks.
DevRev.
Just want to make sure everyone heard that.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So it was a lot of planning and pushing people. But the DevRev side of things were really easy. We actually imported around 200,000 Zendesk tickets. We moved 800 knowledge base articles and 12 workflows. We really took it back to basics. I didn't want to just move what we had and recreate what we had in Zendesk. I wanted to really look at what we were doing and plan for the future. Could we eliminate some of the functions and workflows we had in Zendesk and just start fresh and then rebuild from there? So we brought 12 automations over, mainly our routing, tagging, and things, just so we could get our data right. And now we are actually in a really good spot. After that 2 weeks, we were successful. Merchants on the other end had no idea we'd actually transitioned. We've started kind of expanding that and integrating more of DevRev's capability. So they're actually pretty excited. I'm excited.
Me too. So maybe also let's talk about what we've been doing since the Zendesk migration. You just mentioned it.
Yeah, so actually one of the coolest things we did was we have our own help site. It exists outside of our what we call our merchant dashboard, outside of DevRev. And one of the problems we've had traditionally is searching. It was a manual search. We configured the synonyms. We configured all the information that linked together. And DevRev actually helped us build that Turing widget for our own help site. So now merchants can click search. They can type in their question, and they get all of the answers, the articles, and everything that they need. It's actually really awesome. I use it myself when I'm trying to figure things out, and it gives a much more targeted answer. We're working on also looking to segment the plug widget into different audiences, and one of the things that our internal team are really excited about is looking at how we can use the plug widget not just for our merchants, but internally. You think about going to Confluence, how do I expense something? How can we get that into the plug widget? How can we bring our IT team in? We're serving everybody. Support ends up being people who get questions about things that aren't their responsibility. But because we're support people, we go help them. But the plug widget can stand in the middle of that and get the people where they need to be.
Awesome. So last question. I know there's a host of other tools you guys use, Asana, HubSpot, monitoring and an alerting tool, and PagerDuty. So what's next? What's the vision?
Yeah, so I really would love to bring everybody in the company into DevRev and just everything that exists there, so everything can be connected together. That's going to take some time, but one of the things we're looking at is consolidating our incident management process. Something DevRev's working on that I think is going to really accelerate us is being able to eliminate a lot of that duplicate work. If I file a bug to an engineering team, but my colleague also does, how can we make sure that we're all working on the right thing at the right moment, as well as making sure that we're like gathering that information and insight on those events that we have and figuring out a way to either do that better in the future or to eliminate that from the process.
Love it. Convergence at its best. Thank you, Alec.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. So I know that everybody's hungry also. So I'll try to wrap it up here very quickly. And I mean, we saw that entire thing right now, which is like the 3 type of AI agents, but it can be extended even further. What is the underlying technologies that we have here with the search, workflow, analytics? It's all getting powered by this knowledge graph, which with the airdrop technologies that you can bring your data also in, can organize it really well. It has the entire RBAC or rollback access control, that this data also is not just only for viewing, but also that you can go and update this information all the way back to the respective systems also. And this is what, when you package it together, we bring it together, is what we call the next generation agent OS, on which that you can very easily go and build this AI agent. Now, our replica that we can start to go and put, we can start to go and program, we can start to give it the skill set that will help us actually do more work on the one that is needed by the company and needed for the business, needed for the customers, as opposed to mundaneness. Mundaneness can all be offloaded to these AI agents. That's what is what we wanted to talk about in this session. I really appreciate you, all of you, spending time with us. Like, I know your time is extremely valuable, so deep gratitude. Thank you so much.
How about a hand from Manoj? How about a hand from